Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, still traveling, but I want to talk today about maintaining privacy in the age of death threats. Now, this is actually an interesting one, and here's the backdrop on this. I just recently read an article that really got me thinking about essentially this topic and the state of the world today. Now, this is going to brush against politics a little bit, but I'm not getting political here. As I always like to say, cybersecurity is agnostic to politics, but we're not immune from it. And now, with that said, basically what prompted me essentially to do this video is essentially what we're going to be talking about here to kick this off. And it comes from a local news source around Boston called Conway Daily Sun, the Conway Daily Sun. Now, here's what's going on, and here's what they're reporting. And I'm just going to give you the primer for this. The identities of 12 jurors who found Vladimir Zhukovsky, age 26, not guilty in the fatal crash that took the lives of 7 motorcycle riders is going to remain a secret despite attempts by the Boston Globe to unseal their names. Apparently, if you're in the Boston area, maybe you've heard of this, but apparently this 26-year-old did something, crashed into something, and 7 motorcyclists died. Obviously not a good thing at all, no matter any way you cut it, but he was found not guilty recently of manslaughter. Now, Coos Superior Court Judge Peter Bornstein ruled this week that jurors are entitled to keep their identities private, in part because of the threats and intimidations that followed these verdicts in August. Among those Bernstein cited as engaging in this intimidation was actually Governor Chris Sununu and Attorney General John Formella. Now, I think Chris Sununu, if I remember correctly, is the governor of New Hampshire, so maybe this is around New Hampshire or on the border or something along those lines. I don't necessarily know. I'm not familiar with the local geography, even though I know where New Hampshire is, and Vermont, and also Massachusetts in relation to each other. So that kicks off the backdrop here that I want to talk about, because what we've seen, interestingly enough, in other public trials lately is this anger, this divisiveness where we are seeing judges and their families getting leveled with death threats. We saw this, recently with the former President Trump being indicted and all of that. Again, I don't care what your side on that is politically, but the judge essentially and others involved in the case were getting death threats. And as we are moving towards an era that essentially is rife with anger and quite frankly, a lack of trust between two political parties, which seems to be breaking down, because no longer do we have that mutual toleration of, well, I disagree with you, you disagree with me, that's okay. The ballot box will basically figure that out for us. Now, one side is looking at the other side and vice versa, as you are destroying everything, and so you must be stopped at all costs. And that has really ramped up death threats and all of that. And I think that is a really important thing to discuss, because maintaining privacy in a data-driven world, in a data-aggregated world, where we are being data mined by the Facebooks, the TikToks, the Googles, you name it, is a huge thing, especially when so many people have a political axe to grind. And again, I don't care what you believe politically, you be on the left or the right or whatever it is. The point is, though, is that if this data and information is out there and can be found, whether you're a juror on a trial like this, or you're simply a person that becomes politically controversial for whatever reason, that is a huge thing, because now people can find you through record searches. There's a lot of places where you can go to find home addresses, all of these things. And in this age of increasing violence, that's a huge problem. We also deal with high-profile individuals at my company that go through death threats. I've had literally clients that have had fatwas before, or we have to call in the FBI because somebody literally sends them a message saying, I'm going to kill you and feed you to your dog, which is actually something we've seen. So this is a huge problem. And I think that as we are dealing with those kinds of things, we really need to make sure that we are maintaining good privacy. Think before you post. Does Facebook really need to know everything about you? Do you really need to use it as a personal therapy group? And these are things that as people are looking for you in their anger for whatever reason against you, for whatever you believe or did, that's a huge issue. And so I'm probably going to do something deeper on this on my next radio show, but maintaining privacy in just the age of anger, I think, is just one of those most important things that we have to talk about, we have to discuss, but we also have to realize impacts us directly. So make sure that you are watching, what you're doing online, especially if you're getting into the political realm and taking a political stance that is very public and that might be angering friends, relatives, neighbors, or even the general public. If you're that high profile, We've got to make sure that we are maintaining privacy as best we can here, and that is just so unbelievably important. And again, I don't care what you believe, this impacts all of us. We all need to take care, and now you can't say you haven't been warned. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where I post nothing personal for that exact reason. Same with YouTube. All you're getting is me in my professional capacity, which is all you really need. Saying, that's what we're talking about. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please, 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 please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.